What's up, everybody? Welcome to our nutrition webinar. This is my first time doing a webinar in this setting. I thought I'd be able to see you guys, but I guess not. I'm gonna have to do it a little bit different next time, but we're gonna make the best out of it. So if you have a question, I want you to throw it up in the comment section. You should be able to do that. If you're here and you are watching, can you leave a comment and just say, hey, I'm here? I want to be able to see everyone, see who is in the studio right now. Charlie, what's up, my man? Sam, what's going on? Great. So you guys can chat. So, all right. I figured I would start this out with a little bit of just some free nutrition information. Scott and Alyssa here, Melody's here, Sarah's here. And then as questions come up or questions you might have about the challenge or whatever information you want to know about nutrition, I am here to answer that. Okay. So first thing off, I'm going to start it off with this. I heard about this today, and I always consider this: why is eating less and moving more such a difficult thing as a weight loss strategy? Okay. Well, the first thing being is most people don't have a diet that is fully dialed in to either how they work out or their activity level. So, for example, if you eat a moderately fat diet, um, maybe on the higher end, okay, with a moderate carbohydrate and a moderate protein intake. The reality is, A, you're probably not getting enough protein to support your muscle function, which in turn helps with fat loss. Two, um, you're not getting enough carbohydrates for your energy, but enough to where your calories aren't low, like a low carbohydrate diet. And then you're eating enough fat to push your calories up. So we don't have enough energy, and we're eating more calories than we think, right? So when you say let's just eat less, and you lack nutrition knowledge when it comes to what is required to create an energy deficit, okay? One or two things are happening. Your non-exercise activity thermogenesis is going to drop, right? So when we eat less and move more, and I actually shared this information with Scott, we can all intentionally exercise. Every single one of us can intentionally exercise. Guys, my daughter just rolled up in here in her new Mardi Gras pajamas, and she looks so cute. So I have to show you guys. Look at these Mardi Gras pajamas she got from Santa. Isn't that cute? Okay, bye. Um, Sorry about that. Okay. So when we try to eat less and move more, we can intentionally exercise. We can all do that. We can all gear ourselves, take a pre-workout, um, snort some Coke, uh, drink a coffee. I'm kidding about the Coke. Um, but we could all gear ourselves up to work for an hour. But when we start to eat less, our energy in output drops because our body wants to create homeostasis. All right. It wants to have a net zero energy balance. So if we are not tracking anything, our daily weight, our steps, our food intake, okay, we have a hard time recognizing a, what our true activity level is, B, what our true energy intake is. So it makes it very difficult to see the exact amount of calories you're eating, um, especially if you've never counted calories before, which is why this will be a macro challenge. Okay, so I hope that information is helpful. I would like to open it up to you guys. Please start putting questions in the comment section. Otherwise, I'm just going to have to make up stuff and talk here for the next 20 minutes. Not everybody at once. Sam, why don't you lead it off? I know you had a question. Or Alyssa, we talked earlier. You said you might have a question. This is supposed to be like a Q&A. Perfect. Christina said, when do we weigh in for the challenge? Okay. Excellent. So what's going to happen is on Friday, I am beginning again to send you out information of what you need for the challenge. Challenge will officially start on Monday. We'll probably do another Zoom on Saturday, kicking off the call, in which case I'll go over the specifics of how we are going to weigh all those types of things. Okay. So when do we weigh in for the challenge? In this challenge, Christina, you're going to be asked to weigh yourself every single day. So on Friday, I would just start getting used to it. You're going to have a section in our app, in which case you would be able to put your daily weight in it, because that is how we're going to decide. That plus your activity factor is how we're going to decide what your calories are going to be, what your macros are going to be, based off a mathematical equation. So I hope that is helpful. If it is, just give me a thumbs up in the chat. If not, go ahead and figure out, ask a follow-up. I'm going to move on to Martha's question. What are the macro specifics for the challenge? Okay. The macros specifics for the challenge are going to be twofold. If you have done macros before, we will give you specific targets after your first week. If not, we're going to spend the first week practicing tracking, okay? Weighing and tracking. The second week, we're going to do calories. 3, 4, 5, and 6 are going to be calories plus protein intake, okay? So again, if you are an experienced macro tracker, okay, then we will be doing all 3 macronutrients for you after the first week. And if you're new to it, we're going to be doing calories and protein, and we will teach you the same. Samantha said macros will be based on our numbers, not from pick like last time. Yes, that is absolutely correct. So I want everyone to track the first week, okay, and really dial in that tracking. And then we will assign everyone a target based off of their tracking for the first week, just like we do in personal nutrition coaching. This is going to be a more advanced version of a group challenge. We haven't done this before. We're going to be checking this out and trying this out. But Coach Jenna and I spent a lot of time in the last few months working this out. Okay. So Haley said, what if we haven't counted macros since 2021? That's fine, Haley. We'll start you out as in the Wodify, the new beginner, but we'll treat you like that. Let's get used to practicing weighing and tracking. Okay. And then we will start to slowly add things on. But I really want to emphasize this. Okay. And one thing I want you to think of between now and Friday is what you want your goal to be for the end of this challenge. And if some of you want to share it in here, I would love that, because I can go ahead and then answer some questions based off of, or give you an idea of how we're going to reach that. Okay. So, for example, all right, Charlie Ford's in here. Okay. He is not. He is not in the challenge, but if he was to sign up for the challenge, all right, then I know Charlie Ford's diet. My goal would be able to create calorie awareness for Charlie. And by the end of 6 weeks, for him to have an idea of what is required from an energy standpoint to either lose weight, maintain, or gain muscle. Those 3 things. So, Martha says to lose body percentage, and I'm assuming you mean body fat percentage, and tighten up your body. Okay. So it's really interesting. Okay. And I hope everyone's okay with me being super honest, but I've been around Martha for a while now. Okay. And Martha, you have a pretty small waist. Okay. Um, so to lose body fat percentage and tighten up your body, all right, it requires two things, okay? Strength training 4 days a week, okay? Make sure we're hitting our steps every single day, all right? And a longer timeline than 6 weeks, all right? Which is okay. Like this can be a 6 weeks. We give you an introduction basis, start you off, and for some of you, you're rather experienced. So for those of you, it could be like an accountability recheck, okay? Um, but to get really granular, when I put someone on a fat loss phase, okay, so whether that's like Scott or one of my male clients, or a female client, like I'm working on a much longer time period, especially based off of the goal. So if we're trying to lose 1 to 2% body fat over the course of 6 weeks, is it possible? Yes. Okay. It is possible. All right. And I mean really possible, not like what some of these other gyms are putting up crazy numbers. I lost 6% body fat and gained 5 pounds of muscle in 6 weeks. Not possible. Okay. It's not possible to do both those same things in 6 weeks. All right. So what it can be is really dialed down. And look, we purposely did this challenge with the timeline to end before the final hoorah of Mardi Gras so that you can have a really good time during Carnival. We're going to have a 2 week rest period, and then we're going to do it again post Carnival so that we can get right back in it. So think we're going to break a 12-week fat loss phase up into 2 6-week chunks. 6 weeks break for Mardi Gras so that you can enjoy yourself, recoup, 6 weeks again. All right. So if you want to do it hard, which we can do, we could take some drastic measures with the numbers. Okay. Or so for example, all right, if you came in and you're like, oh, weighed your calories and we figured out that 1,500 calories was maintenance for you. All right. Well, I'm going to say like, we're going to hit this hard. We might go 1,200 calories. Okay. Now, if we did that and you were in a, say 1,200 calories and you're in a 300 calorie deficit per day. Okay. After 12 days, you would lose a pound of body weight. Okay. Now, if we're doing everything right, probably a pound of fat. Okay. So if there are 60 days, potentially we could lose 5 pounds of fat in those 60 days. Okay. Now, what we're not taking into account is when your calories go over maintenance and we start to take away from the 300. So what is possible? Like that is very much possible. And the higher your maintenance, the more fat we might be able to burn. But when I say 5 pounds of fat, I don't mean water weight, 5 pounds of body weight. I mean 5 pounds of fat. We can take off 5 pounds of fat in 60 days pretty easily. It depends how dialed in you want to be. Um, and I say that for everyone. Like accuracy, for one, is key. Tracking relentlessly is key. Now, it is not a crazy thing, okay? If you go out to eat, you guess, you put it in MyFitnessPal. Most of you here have committed to the challenge. You've paid me your money, okay? So go for it, all right? Every time we do that, go for it, all right? So if you find yourself having to guess, you're putting in yourself in a lot, like often. I mean, guess 3, 4, 5 times a week, okay? Let's say 3+ times a week, you have to guess your macros. All right. You are putting yourself at a disadvantage to be successful in the challenge. Okay. Um, I'll get there, Sarah. Okay. So it depends on what you want. So Sarah said, Bradley, if you were in a deficit like that and working out 4 to 5 workouts as stacked, how do you prevent exhaustion and getting sick? Okay. Um, Sarah, do you know what your maintenance is? While I wait for her to fill in what her maintenance calories were. Okay. I'm going to go back to Sam and say, I would say fat loss, but you know me and my body is what you would recommend. Um, I would go fat loss, right? Uh, but again, like the most successful people when it comes to diets, whatever challenge we did before, nutrition, weight loss, fat loss, etc. Okay, comes with how honest can you be with yourself. All right. Now, here's a lot better policy. Okay, two different people here. One is this person. Okay, um, I track all my meals, put them all, weigh them all, put them into my Fitness Pal. Except I grab a bite to eat here or there or something out of the pantry, and I don't really think much of it because it's small, okay? Or I put everything in and I go over my number, but I don't care, I'm putting everything in. The person who puts everything in all the time, and I mean everything, like, "Oh, here's a chip," all right? The person who puts that single chip in MyFitnessPal will be more successful post challenge in the long run than the person who doesn't think about, a couple of snacks but stays pretty much under. All right. And the reason why is this: honesty creates awareness, which is going to change your behavior. Honesty turns into awareness, which then is going to turn into a behavioral change. All right. So if you see the actual number on a daily basis of how many calories you eat, and then you see how that reflects on the scale, you will ultimately change your behavior. Okay. It's like this. Okay. And it's when it comes to weighing yourself every day, weighing your food, those types of things. All right. If you are trying to get out of debt, or save money towards a certain goal or investments or whatever, or try to increase your financial health. The more you look at your bank account, daily basis, twice a day, whatever it might be, the more successful you're going to be at achieving that. It's the same thing with this. All right. Now, you might get to a place where you feel pretty comfortable with yourself, with your body, with your weight. Okay. That's a perfectly good time to take a break from whatever it is you might want to do. Okay. I'm real big on myself. Like I don't weigh myself every day anymore. I weigh myself pretty often, maybe 5 to 7 days a week. It just keeps me in it. Okay. So let me get back to what Sarah said. She said, I believe around 1600 ish. All right. This is perfect. And Sam, I've told you this before. Okay. And I'm going to tell you, Sarah, if your goal is fat loss, okay, you need to create a calorie deficit. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. All right. So then the question is, well, how do I work out 4 to 5 workouts a stack? How do you prevent exhaustion and getting sick? Okay. You have to dial back the intensity. So it might be I work out 4 times a stack, not 5. Or the fifth time is I come in because it keeps you mentally sane and I go really easy. And the 4 times a week that I work out, I might do warm up, strength, accessory. That's a wrap. Or just the weightlifting portions of the Metcon or a slow version of the hot start. But if you get what I'm picking up, it's you dial down the intensity, not up, dial down. Intensity makes you hungry, right? Which is going to get you exhausted and you'll get sick. So if we dial the intensity down from a working out standpoint, we still lift weight, we just lift less intense, slower, maybe some less reps. We don't push it so much, okay? Then we can worry about the fat loss, right? It is really hard to do both things at once. And I'm going to break some hearts here, but especially for women, okay? It's just genetically not fair, right? My girlfriend says this all the time. Men have it much better than women when it comes to fat loss and muscle gain, and it's just the truth. Okay. So we have to kind of have different things for them. So I would say dial down the intensity of the working out. Make sure you hit your steps. A lot of walking, a lot of walking. Okay. Alyssa asked for a food cheat sheet and a grocery list, broccoli, slaw, pickles, food hacks. I absolutely will have all of that stuff. Okay. Sarah says, I don't know how to dial down. Um, well, you work out with a bunch of psychos at 5:30 a.m., so I don't really know what to tell you. I'm kidding. By chance, if you work out at 5:30 a.m., you're wired differently. You're just built differently, as my son would say, which is an awesome thing. But you have to figure out just to take it easy. You could come hang out with me. I work out like 35 minutes a day, right? I just do strength. I do a really long warm up, strength, accessory, and that's about it. Sometimes I do a Metcon, but I do walk a lot. My goal for 2025 is to average 15,000 steps per day, average, not hit average, because it's really difficult to hit 15,000 steps a day. Um, and I don't think it's possible. And so I'm not going to set myself up for failure. However, I can average 15,000 steps because that some days I get 17, 18,000, which allows me to get 11, 12 on other days. Okay. All right. So what other questions White may have? This is like a 5:30 a.m. specific here, except for Charlie. Charlie's the outlier. This is a morning session, nutrition session. I like that. What else is going on? Any other questions? Any fitness questions? Any life questions? I did one thing I am going to talk about in the challenge is how to track your meals while cooking for a family. I think that's super important. I think that's where a lot of people make a mistake. Okay. But the reality is this: you might have to figure out a way to, I'll tell you, listen. So you might have to find a way to either prepare two different meals or have four or five separate parts where maybe you eat two or three separate parts. Uh, but again, if you want to, and this is where I tell people this at the beginning of every nutrition coaching call, and I don't think people believe me, all right, or they just want to do what they want to do, but it leads to failure. And that is be simple. Keep it simple, stupid. Okay. Let's go with KISS. All right. Keep it simple in the kitchen, right? Protein, fruit or vegetable, starchy carbohydrate. You're going to get enough fat in other places. You're cooking fat for the protein, you're cooking fat for the vegetables. We don't need to add any additional fats into our meal. Protein, fruit or vegetable carbohydrate, starchy carbohydrate. And then you put it on your plate and you eat it. Okay. It's pretty simple. I cooked pork tenderloin the other day. I cooked a big thing of rice and I roasted a bunch of cauliflower. And then I just weighed them as I put them on my plate because I am weighing too with you guys. I'm going to use this as my get back into it as well. Alyssa said, how do I fit king cake into my macros? You have to plan for it. All right. So the first thing is this: there is a, let me look it up. All right. There is a good entry, and I've searched far and wide for this. There's a good entry in MyFitnessPal for king cake. All right, it is this one right here. There's a Randazzo's king cake entry. I don't know if you can see it. All right, because I have a privacy screen on my phone. But it's 28 carbs, 5 grams of fat, and 4 grams of protein for 55 grams. Okay, you could fit that in. Even you, Alyssa. I think we are eating 150 carbohydrates a day. So you still have 110, 115 to eat. All right. So this might be your starch. You might have to eat less starches and more green vegetables, berries, that type of thing. but you can fit it in. You just have to plan for it. So here's the things that you say no to when it comes to king cake. All right, fillings. Fillings are not in that entry, and fillings are going to put your fat through the roof. Okay, especially cream cheese, Bavarian cream. All those things are going to throw your fat and macros through the roof. Okay, so we're looking for a plain one like a tartines or something like that. Um, Sarah, you can find this on YouTube, but we'll probably wrap this up in a second. Okay. Martha says, who are the coaches, the leaders? Me, Kelly, and Jen. So if you Jen is the one who's always got a picture on our stacked coaching story. She's always taking a selfie, giving some nutrition advice, walking down the street. And Kelly is our nutrition coach that lives in Oregon, and me. Caroline said, besides weighing on a scale, would you recommend taking down his measurements as well? Okay, so interesting. All right. I'm a big believer in just scale and pictures. I I don't think I don't like to take measurements around your waist or your thigh or arms or anything like that because you have to get that exact section correct every single time. It's rather difficult. Actually, probably have to have someone else measure you, and even then, like you're gonna have to make all kinds of markers. Like, is the back of the measuring tape right around your back? So here's what I say about this. Okay, daily weight gives us the data to determine whether your calories are the right or not. All right. Are we doing the things that we want to do in terms of reaching our goal? Daily weight tells us that. Pictures tells you whether you are happy or not. Okay. I always tell people this, like the daily weight is for data. The pictures are to decide whether we're successful or not. Because it doesn't matter what the scale says. It doesn't matter what the tape measure says if you are happy with how you look and feel. If you feel good, great. If you feel like you look good, great. If not, we have some work to do. Now, there's within reason, and we can dive way deeper into that in a Zoom call. Okay. But daily weight and pictures from a body standpoint, we're also going to be weighing our food as well. All right. I hope this was helpful. Um, does anyone have any other questions? Sarah says, are we doing body scans at the beginning before we start? We can. You can take one tomorrow. You can take one the next day. They are not required in order for me to figure out your numbers. So we're just doing them so you have a starting point and an end point. So feel free to do one. Kristen knows how to do the body scans. If you guys want to do it, take a picture of it and send it to me. I'll analyze it for you. Or if you want to do it, leave it on my desk. I'll give you a full report after that. Okay. But let's just start doing them. You can do them whenever, and then I can talk to you after the fact, especially since you guys come in at 5:30 in the morning. It's the best time to do it when you're fasted after already going to the bathroom, you haven't eaten or you haven't drank a lot. That's the best time to do it. So start getting after it. All right, everybody. I'm super excited. Would love to see Charlie join. I think everybody else is in. Melly, I don't know if you're in or not. But I think this is going to be a lot of fun. I think we're going to get some good progress. We have a few more spots left. If anyone else wants to join, just let me know. All right, y'all. Let's get after it. And I hope 5:30 a.m. shows everybody else what it's all about. All right, y'all. Bye.